Today we're going to be talking about why you keep getting the same results year after year. Now, you may have found yourself in a situation where the last time you made a plan, it's the same as the time before that. And you might feel that sometimes you go 3 steps forward and then you find yourself 3 steps back. Or you're just sort of spinning your wheels and you're wondering why you're not getting what you want, why it's so difficult to get what you want. I'm just going to turn off this to make sure that that's not getting in the way, because I think it absolutely is. There's a reason. A lot of it has to do with the old adage, you may have heard it before, you're either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. And so the essence behind all that is, if you are a specialist, if you're a professional in what you do, then school's never out. And the professional mindset is one that enables you to realize that while there are ways of getting very, very good at something, there is no true mastery, because we can always improve. So today I want to talk about sort of 3 mindsets that help you get out of that spinning the wheels trap, help you get out of stuck, help you get out of the situation where you're just getting more of the same year in, year out, and you want to actually have a change. So I'll talk about the 3 mindsets. The first mindset, number one, is the momentum mindset. So we'll put mindset up the top. Now, the momentum mindset means that we need to be in movement. If we're not in movement, we're stuck. And it moves with the law of inertia that, things that are in rest will take considerable amount of force to actually move to being in movement. And things that are in movement will actually continue in movement unless there's a force to slow them down. So momentum mindset is really about what are the things that we're doing to move and then continue moving in our business. Now, Leanne Christie, a friend of mine who runs a bureau called Ovations, has a fantastic way of looking at this, and she explains it as the sausage factory, right? You've got like this machine that's built to make sausages. It's absolutely fantastic. But to get it working, you need to put something in the top of it, which is the sausage meat, right? So you come up here, you put all the sausage meat in the top of the machine, and it goes through its paces and spits out the other side, and you run to the other side, and there's the sausages coming out. And you say, oh, okay, cool, I've got the sausages coming out, we've made our sausages. Then suddenly the sausages stop coming out, and you're like, why do they stop coming out? And then you look up here, and you go, oh yeah, I've got to put sausage meat in the top of the machine so it keeps coming through. Now, that momentum mindset is really applies very much to the sales and marketing space, where we might be in conversations with people who are prospects. We might be in conversations with sales scenarios where we're about to actually get new clients or working with existing clients. But unless we're putting new clients in the top of it, or new prospects, new people into our network, then we're only working with what we've got. So the momentum mindset is really about creating consistent movement. So what are you doing? Just tiny little things that you could be doing. It could be making new connections. It could be inviting people to something, whatever it might be, going to networking events. What is the one thing that you're doing on a regular basis to keep that momentum going? And if you are feeling stuck, it may require a little extra energy to get back into momentum. So what are you doing to do that? Now, there are a number of people I've spoken to over the last 2 years in particular who have felt very, very stuck. And so what have they had to do to get out of that? Well, we've worked together to create a catalyst that actually gets it rolling again. And once it's rolling again, it becomes so much easier. There's a colleague of mine who talks about 7 calls a day that they make to keep their ball rolling. And that's fantastic, 7 calls a day. But if you're starting your business and you're making 7 calls a day, it's not going to get the momentum started. You need to put a little extra push, a little extra catalyst at the start of that. And often people will work with me just for a few months to get that rolling, and then they start running off again. So momentum mindset is key to making sure that you're getting something different, that you're progressing in your business rather than just staying with the same old, all right? Now, that's key for just about every business. The second one is going to be very, very key for specialists, professionals, and experts. So if you have expertise, you're selling services around those expertise, we're actually working with people around those expertise. I don't know if you can hear the the blower or whatever that is going off on the side, but I'd love you to let me know if you can. But if you're selling those expertise, then you really need to be continuing to work on your professional mindset. So how are you developing as a professional? What are the things that you're doing to continuously get better. I mean, it's the same reason why I've currently got a coach that I'm working with on the specialist area of the service I provide to make sure I'm continuing to improve that service. Because if we can get better, guess what? The rest of the world is getting better around us. So if we're not improving, if we're sitting on our laurels for 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, some of us, I've seen people go, I was really good in the 80s, and they're resting on those laurels now. Their information is now out of date. Their expertise are often out of date. They've got experience which is useful and can potentially be adapted, but if they're not continuously improving, if school is out for those professionals, then they're no longer in the conversation. So what can you be doing as a professional to keep in that conversation? Now, part of that is also developing your professionalism. What is professionalism? Well, in the old days, I used to think professional was the old white guy in a suit. Suit and tie, had a briefcase, would come into work. And to be honest, when I started my business, I did that. I went and actually got a briefcase, and I would go along to these meetings with a briefcase and felt very professional. That was literally just a tool for me to feel confident about what I was doing. Looking back, it would have been hilarious seeing the old version of myself now, realizing that professional has nothing to do with what you're wearing, what you've got around you, but very much about what you're thinking and what you're doing. And so, for instance, with me, I've developed my own set of principles about what is a professional. Now, you as a professional may want to do that too. One of my principles is very much about setting expectations. Every now and then I hear from other people who have expertise that they're not happy with how their clients are treating them. They're not happy with the expectations that their clients have about the service they provide. And a large part of that is to take ownership and understand that as a professional, that's our fault. Because we either set expectations or expectations are set for us. We're also aware that people have expectations. And if we didn't set them, they're going to have it, and we're going to have to keep that promise that they created, which is very difficult because we have to be in their own mind. Otherwise, we actually need to go and reset, reframe, and actually reset those expectations, even in an engagement we could have been in for a couple of years. So setting expectations is a large part of being a professional, and it's something that I think that every professional, expert, service provider, especially the specialist service providers, really need to have as a fundamental underlying principle to the way they go about what they're doing. Now, I have all sorts of things living above the line. Communication is the feedback we receive. So if I get the wrong communication back, I go, all right, what did I do to actually affect the communication going forward? Understanding to always sharpen the saw. So knowing that school's never out for the professional means, what am I doing this week, this day, this month to grow in 1%? Just 1%. How am I growing that each day? So what am I doing from a momentum point of view? What am I doing to keep the ball rolling along? Or if I'm stuck, what am I going to do to lift it out of the mud? Number 2 is what am I going to do as a professional to keep that professionalism current and adaptable for the ever-changing environment we find ourselves in. So that's number 2. Number 3 is an ownership. So the owner mindset. Now, some businesses are not businesses, and that's absolutely fine. Some businesses are practices. Now, an example of a practice would be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, a lot of specialists, a lot of solopreneurs. Consultants can be very much running a practice. The idea of a practice is that it runs around you, where ideally a business is the profitable enterprise that runs without you. So the idea of having the owner mindset is, am I in a job, or am I actually creating a business that can run without me? Now, if I want a business that runs without me, I'm like, all right, well, how does this business run without me? All right, well, if I need a business that runs, it needs a manager to run it. Okay, so who's that manager? All right, well, it's me to start with. Okay, if it's me to start with, then what am I accountable to as if I was an employee to myself? Do I need to be giving reports to myself? Yes, you do, because you're the manager. Do I need to be managing the people underneath me? Yes, you do, because you're the manager. Should I be getting paid? Yeah? Should I be getting paid the same as a manager would expect to be paid? Yes, which means that you should be paying yourself for actually doing the work of a manager. All right? And you get profit on top of that. So you've got owner. Manager has to come underneath owner, And if you don't have a manager, then you are you're by default the manager, and you're actually sitting inside a job. Then underneath the manager, what are the aspects that run your business? Do you have admin? Do you have production? Do you have sales and marketing? If you have not people to do that, then those are you. And are you dedicating the same amount of time to each of those areas that an employee would spend if you were engaging an employee to run it for you? Now, at the start of a business, we understand that it's difficult because we only have 24 hours in a day to do all the things. So what can we do? We can outsource them. We can bring people into the business to actually do them. Now, if we don't have the money to employ them, then it comes down to us. But the owner mindset makes us realize that if we're only spending 2 hours to a day on marketing in our business, and we're competing against someone who has a full-time business that's running without them, we're competing their employee, which has got 38, 40 hours a week, versus our 8. And so we have to expect that it's going to take us a little longer. We have to expect that it's not going to be as easy. And I think part of that is giving ourselves a bit of a break to say, why isn't this, instead of saying, why isn't this working? It's to understand that it's not working because you're wearing all these hats. So you're the owner, you're the manager, you're looking after the different parts of your business. And so how can you, within a 40-hour week, do that all? Well, often you can't to the same level of a business that's running without the manager involved, without the owner, involved. Now, most people don't walk 40 hours in any job that I know where they're running their own business. They're probably running 60 plus hours. But even in 60 plus hours, it's difficult to compete against somebody who actually has a business that's running without them. So these are the 3 mindsets to actually start considering. If you want something different, then you need to look at the owner mindset and go, I need to understand what I've got, what I'm missing, and what are the steps to get me out of each of these roles so I can have a business that ideally runs without me, or a business that can run around me where I'm just doing the delivery. Am I a professional? What are my professional principles? What does it mean to be a professional, and what am I doing from a professional development point of view to enhance myself for the ever-changing and adapting market? And then finally, what am I doing from a momentum point of view to ensure that the business is continuing to move along when it's in motion? Or if it is stuck, how am I going to get it out of the mud? What is the catalyst that I'm actually going to take to make it happen? So if you're feeling that you're a little stuck, if you're feeling that you don't have the momentum you want, if you're feeling like you don't have the business you want, and you really feel guilty because you feel like you should be spending more time around professionalism, then really the step from here is to make space for it. How do you make space for it? Creating these little appointments with yourself. I don't care if it's 1 hour on each of these a week. It's going to make a massive shift to your business. If you go, right, within this 1 hour, what is the thing I can design, implement, and act on to move my business along? Within this 1 hour a week, what is the thing that I can be doing to get better at what I do and how I deliver it, how I communicate it as a professional? Number 3 is, all right, 1 hour a week, how can I look at being the owner rather than being inside the business as an employee? What does an owner mindset allow me? How does it allow me to think differently so I can start implementing things to remove myself from the day-to-day activities of what I'm doing? I would love for you to let me know what you found valuable in what we discussed today. Now, whether you're watching it here live on Facebook or whether you're watching it on YouTube or anywhere else where you see it, I'd love to hear the comments or read the comments in the chat. I'll come back and I'll talk to them, especially if there's any questions. Would love to help you with those. Now, for anyone who is watching the replay later, if you're not watching it on Facebook, you can come and join us on the Future Proof Business Group, which is where this is going live. Now, there's 800 odd awesome people that are part of this group, and they're all specialists and business owners who have opportunities to talk and share about growing and adapting their business in this ever-changing environment. And very much it's around having these mindsets. And so I invite you to actually become part of that community. I'd love to be part of it. Check out the links below wherever you're looking, and there'll be all sorts of fun and cool opportunities. We've got an event that's coming up on the 2nd of March. That's all about actually attracting and retaining better clients for consultants, specialist service providers. So if you fit into that category, Let me know that you're interested and I can get an invitation out to you. We'd love to have you in the room. And it's going to be talking about how can you move to an owner space or get your business to a point where it is achieving the levels of income, clientele, and lifestyle that you want inside your business, about how you can achieve those through creating very, very simple steps every single week. Until next time, stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next Tactical Tuesday. Bye for now.